Uh, then I woke up a few days ago with this amazing idea, and I want to welcome you all to my brand new series. Hi everyone, welcome back to Anisha Writes Books. If you're new here, hello, I'm Anisha. I am a romance author. I do write fantasies for kids as well, and I haven't posted on this channel for a very long time because I had a lot of other things come up. I had to go back to a full time job. I had to manage writing my books, my cats, living alone, all of that jazz. But then I woke up a few days ago with this amazing idea, and I want to welcome you all to my brand new series called Romance Writer Spills the Tea. So today I'm diving into something a little bit personal. It's about how writing romances has shaped my own love life. And spoiler alert, it's a little more complicated than you might think. Because, yeah. So let's just dive into it. So, one of the first things that I would like to talk about is how, um, romances, and especially writing romances, has made me think about the idealized love stories. Because let's just face it, fiction is riddled with meet cutes. Like, you could walk into a coffee shop, you could walk into a job interview, you could go somewhere, and you're going to meet somebody who's interesting and somebody who piques your interest and somebody who's in the story, it becomes your love interest, right? But in real life, it's a little bit difficult. And when you start writing these stories and you're living for these stories, and a good chunk of your time is thinking about these stories, again, I'm speaking for myself, it cannot be true for everyone. Sometimes we start looking at every single opportunity of whenever we meet someone as, ooh, this could be my meet cute. So that kind of puts a dent on everything because to you, every single meeting becomes like an opportunity for let's explore if this has dating potential. And it could be detrimental because sometimes people out there are not looking for what you are looking for as well, right? So that brings me to my second point where fictional romances has clashed really badly with my own dating experiences. Because you see, book boyfriends have been around. Like since the time of Mr. Darcy and Red Butler, book boyfriends have been around, but the term book boyfriend came a little later, right? Been around. Like since the time of Mr. Darcy and Red Butler, book. Right now, modern dating has been a lot about, swiping on the apps, meeting people from the apps. So it's a little disappointing as a romance author when I think back. And if I've been dating somebody for a while, I'm like, oh shit, we met on an app. What kind of a story is that? And then I have to reel myself back in and say, this is real life. This is not a story. And your story is as good as you make it. Your story doesn't have to be, uh, you know, what you're choosing to tell yourself. Or what, just because you met on an app doesn't mean that this is going to be a bad story. I mean, I met a lot of good people on the apps. So there's that. And as soon as I started realizing that, okay, my work is starting to affect my love life, I kind of took a step back and I was like, maybe I should work on myself. Being a romance author definitely influences my dating choices and, of course, my perspectives on love. Um, One of the things that I think all of us were brought up on is the whole notion that, oh, once you find love, everything is going to fall into place. And believe me, over the course of my life, I have found love a lot of times, or what I thought was love a lot of times. It doesn't solve anything because you're still going to wake up and you're still going to have bills to pay. You will still perhaps have nothing figured out. It's nice to have somebody to go through that journey with you, but there's no guarantee that just because you've met someone, your life is magically going to fall into place. And more often than not, a lot of times, if it's not the right person, if it's not the person who meets your needs, right? It's a chaotic thing. And the other thing that romances taught us, the early romances that we used to write, like when the person is being toxic, they're being ignoring you and they're kind of just being in their presence, giving you butterflies in your tummy. Took me a long time to realize that that isn't healthy behavior. That isn't what you should aspire for at all. Like, um, that is just your nervous system being chaotic because you're not used to being calm. So I have also learned that it feels like the movies is not really a good thing because when you really meet someone and you know that this person has potential and this person has a future with you, your nervous system is going to be calm. You're not going to get butterflies. You're going to be very calm around them. You're going to be very, very happy to see them. And they're not going to keep you second guessing. They're not going to play bullshit games like if I text you, they're not going to text you back. Like, if I text you once, you're going to text me 6 hours later. So I'm going to text you 8 hours later. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And while I understand why romance is like romanticizing such behavior and it's really good for the plot, it's not good for your mental health. So if somebody's playing these games with you, cut them loose. They are not worth it. I have always told myself that if something doesn't work out, and if I've invested too much time into something, I can always get a story out of it and it is not going to be, my time is not going to be wasted. It's the whole sunk cost fallacy. Like, just because I dated somebody for 6 months and it didn't work out doesn't mean I'm going to drag it out for another 6 months because, hey, I already spent 6 months on it. I'd rather just sit down, take out my notebook or take out my laptop, hammer out a story and get over it. That's something that I've done. And that is also a story for another episode where I'm going to tell you how I turned all my bad relationships and my bad dates into really good stories. I already spent 6 months on it. I'd rather just sit down, take out my notebook or take out my laptop, hammer out a story and get over it. That's something that I've done. And it has been a very good way for me to process the hurt. So sometimes I'm really thankful that I am a romance author because I can channel all the hurt, the trauma, the disrespect into really good stories and just churn it out and get it out of my system. The one difference is that, the heroine in stories, as soon as something doesn't work out for her, she'll wake up the next day and 2 days later, 3 days later, whatever unrealistic timeline, she's going to find somebody else. That really doesn't happen in real life. In real life, I remember there was this huge period of time, 5 years in fact, where I never met anyone. But that was also because I was not making the conscious effort of meeting anyone. I kind of went into my shell and I was like, this is not for me. I'd rather live in the books. So I think this is a good start to our series. Let me know what you think about the series. If you're a fellow romance writer or reader, let me know in the comments if stories have also influenced your own love life. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you really like this series and you want to see more of such content, please let me know because it kind of helps me to understand what kind of things that you would like. If you want me to talk more about writing and publishing and marketing, please let me know that as well. I do plan on continuing the other 2 series that are on my channel. The one is about alternative writing careers and the other is about my books. I would obviously want to talk more about my books. So until next time, bye.